evening, jelly beans. There goes my mic. All right, hope y'all had a good day. I almost said goodbye to everybody. This is Jewelry Jelly here with Sakura, cosplaying as a nurse, and George Washing Machine, and Dubai Pistachio Jenkins in his wonderful shark suit. So we are going to be playing World of Horror tonight. Ooh, okay. Couldn't find some necessary data. Okay. Oh, it looks like there was still some stuff on the cloud. Luckily, I mean, this is the first time I've played it on the Switch 2. I don't know if they're going to be having a Switch 2 update for this game or not. But anyway, I figured since it's spooky season and since tomorrow's Friday and I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, might as well... Why is my nose so red? Jeez. Might as well play it tonight. Welcome to the world of horror. So what we are going to do, let's see, let's see. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to reset our progress. And we're going to start fresh. Alrighty then. Let us begin. Alright, so we're going to start with the spine-chilling story of School Scissors. City of Shiokawa, Japan, 1980X. Something strange is happening in our town. Robed figures can be seen gathering in the woods at night. People are going missing. Disgusting creatures are terrorizing the seaside. The rapid technological progress of the modern era brings comfort, but also new, unknown threats. Old gods, malicious eldritch beings who ruled the earth eons ago, are awakening as reality starts to crumble. Armed with clues, spells, and your dwindling sanity, you'll investigate mysteries across the city and in realms beyond. The story so far. You've been following the weird cult for weeks now, barely surviving the encounter with the skin hag at the nursery. It's a race against time, and you can't rest until our town is safe. Okay, I'm going to put that on weapon A. Let's start the mystery. Another boy from your school has disappeared. Rumor has it, a terrible woman has returned from the grave. A woman with the widest smile and the sharpest scissors. You knew your friend was up to something when he left you his notebook full of cryptic notes. I can send her back where she belongs, he claimed. After he too disappeared, you decided to study the notebook for clues. It details a ritual that claims to stop the wicked woman for once and for all. What's the worst thing that can happen? The school is eerily quiet at this hour. Your missing friend has left you a notebook. If the rumors are true, to stop the tall woman with scissors, you'll need to perform a ritual to force her material form to appear in our dimension. Accompanying this requires first the drawing of an eldritch sigil and then the lighting of holy candles. You can only hope that your friend has left them somewhere around the school. So let's check our storage first. Looks like it's our friend's diary here. Alright. A strange tall woman has been following me all day. I must hurry up. This sigil can weaken the demon for a while. Careful with the lines. Maru is acting strange. I need to talk to her with her after class. I hope she didn't attempt the ritual herself. I've hidden the candles in one of the classrooms. Tomorrow, I will try to perform the ritual. Okay, so we've got an idea of what the sigil looks like. Okay, so let us explore the school. You hear a faint sound while walking outside the biology classroom. Inside is an old anatomy model, its heart beating. The sight almost makes you sick. You feel like something horrible is happening within the school. You must hurry and find those items. As you enter the school gym, you notice a strange black doll propped up against the wall. Against your better judgment, you approach the doll. What you see makes you gasp in horror. The doll isn't a doll. Your sudden movement causes tiny black spiders to flee, revealing a white, half-eaten corpse. Okay, so it looks like you need to go to the pool. There's also the lockers. What's outside? You shouldn't risk that again. You need a tiny key to open this locker. Oh, you got a bat. What's that? You enter the damp-smelling sport wing. You notice a backpack drifting on a swimming board in the middle of the pool. Could it be what you were looking for? You enter the pool and start swimming towards the backpack. Suddenly, the water turns murky, and you realize you're not alone in the pool. A bloated figure emerges from the murky water, blocking your only way out of the pool. A bloated teacher. Yeesh. During each turn, you'll build a sequence of attacks and moves from the action ring. Once you've filled the sequence bar, press the launch sequence button to finish your turn. Okay, so stabby, stabby. Let's see. So, stab, let's see. Punch, punch, kick, kick, kick. Okay. Bloated teacher attacks you. Look, a new item has appeared in the upper right corner. That's your inventory. Select it and find the equip button. You found Blessed Shock, which you can use to draw the sigil in your ritual. You copy the sigil as best you can on the blackboard. Hopefully, it'll be enough. Alright, let's take a look inside our storage. Make sure that we have the right... Okay, so it's gotta be a triangle with, lines. Okay, so that looks like it's fine. A tall woman with an unsettling face and twitching lip stops you. I'll be your new biology teacher. Could you help me move some stuff to my new office? The creepy substitute teacher hands you dusty, old biological specimens. The rancid smell of formalin almost makes you drop the jar. Should fetuses have so many legs? doll again. You found the holy candles in your friend's backpack. You lit them as instructed by the notebook. Everything is ready for the ritual. Wait, what's that? You take a step back as a writhing amorphous mass slowly takes shape. Soon, it becomes a tall woman-like creature with 3 faces, all connected by a wide smile. Now it is your chance to fight and defeat this horror. It is also your only chance. Okay. Damage 4, speed 90, chance to hit 70. Okay. My razor will do the trick. Twitching and twisting, the demon woman enters the classroom, cackling menacingly. Am I beautiful? You've defeated Scissor. The ancient horror lies dead on the classroom floor, slowly dissolving into nothingness. You find your friend gravely wounded, but alive. You help him up, and both of you limp away from the school as the police sirens get louder. The horror is over, for now. Alright, so that's our first mystery solved, and now we're going to get into the meat of the game. I said meat. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to select extracurricular activity. We're going to go through the intro once more. Kuthak Atorasu is once again awakening from its slumber. Blinded by its impossible to satisfy hunger, it has started to tear down the walls of its cocoon prison. Stop it before it devours us all. The old god's rule is you can't escape from combat encounters. Welcome and thank you for trying World of Horror. Inspired by adventure games from the 80s, the visual overload may be a little disorienting in the beginning. In this short tutorial, I'll do my best to explain various elements and prepare you to fight the horrible old gods, Powell, creator of the game. That's the main game screen. Here, you will interact with your surroundings, solve mysteries, and fight enemies. All performed actions will be added to the log here. That's the user interface part of the screen. Here, you'll manage your inventory, cast spells, and access the game options. That's you on the right. World of Horror has RPG elements and your attributes are described by 6 basic stats. Move your cursor over them to learn more. That's your stamina. It represents your physical health. Once it reaches 0, your character dies. That's your reason. It represents your stability and will to confront the horrors. Once it reaches 0, your character collapses and the game ends. That's knowledge. Stats are used to determine the outcome of events and the speed of certain combat actions. That's charisma. Stats are used blah 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 blah. That's funds, representing the amount of money you can spend. That's perception. That's dexterity. That's strength. Items, spells, status, allies and perks, town status, you, old god, options. That's your inventory. You can keep up to 4 items. To inspect, use, or equip anything you pick up, select the item in question from this area. There are 3 equipment slots. Equipped items do not count towards the 4 items limit. A, weapon used in combat, B and C, trinkets and armor. As you progress with your playthrough, more helpful tips will appear. Would you like to turn the combat tutorial on? It will start during your first enemy encounter. Now we're good. Okay, so let's head back home. You check your mailbox. It's empty. Back in your home, you think of your next move. Alright, so Inexplicable and morbid events have been plaguing your town for some time now. You've marked down 5 of them, hoping that there is something connecting them. You can tackle these 5 mysteries in any order you want. Beware. Your decisions will haunt you and influence yet unsolved mysteries. Okay, so it looks like there's one mystery that's already been solved here, and we can't do a reroll. Let's see. Alarming account of abnormal arms, far-out fable of a fear festival, eerie episode of evolving eels, spine-chilling story of school scissors. That's the one that we just completed. So let's do the alarming account of abnormal arms. I remember when it started. The woman next door was strangled to death in her bed, with no sign of forced entry. The killer was never found, and the apartment remained vacant. Okay, so... Alright, so we've got a chance to... Let's see, I'm going to investigate the hospital twice. You meet with your friend who has recently started her nurse practice. You lazily chat on the roof of the hospital watching the sunset. Now would be the perfect opportunity to ask about the recent unearthly events. Either ask about them or don't ruin the calm moment. I'm gonna ask. Her stories about missing patients, mysterious surgeries, and a strange infection are helpful, but they kill the mood. You must leave this place. You're stopped by a masked man wearing a lab coat. He introduces himself as a researcher from Tokyo University, testing a new retreatment method that promises to revolutionize modern medicine. Holding out a pile of documents, he tells you he can heal your wounds for free. You just need to sign here. Nah, I'm good. You politely decline a generous offer and continue on your way. The Anatomical Museum Archive displays a specimen with elongated arms and jellified bones. Alright, so why don't we go and visit this shopkeeper dog? Boop! Okay, compass. Energy drink. Salt. Sewing kit. Backpack. Discount item. Let's see. I think what I will do is... well, I don't have any weapons. I can reroll for +3 doom, so let's see. And how many do I have? I have 6 funds. Putting your hand in that hole was a bad idea. Seeing the big spider escape, you hope it wasn't poisonous. Let's see if there's something new here. Oh, I got a bottle of milk. The apartment is on the 3rd floor. There is no way somebody used the window to escape the murder scene. Moo Moo brand milk. You knock on your friend's door and wait. Huh, Kana's not home. You should check later. Mr. OOO, your neighbor, is a horror manga artist. He's struggling to come up with a satisfying ending for his newest story. I'm gonna share my experience. Incredible! He shouts in excitement. How do you come up with this stuff? Sensing this story will be a huge hit, he pays you a token of appreciation. You notice the odd placement of ventilation shafts. They seem too small for anyone to crawl through, though. Excuse me, do you have a moment to talk about our real Lord and Savior? The day of reckoning is coming, says the voice on the other side of the line. You definitely don't like the way the man on the other side of the line puts an accent on real. Hello? Are you still there? Hang up. You put down the phone, a little shaken up. Just how many people did that old man call today? Alright, I need to get my wound treated. Okay. I'm fine now. Dark forces scheme against you. You don't know who you can trust anymore. Fearful. Lose one reason at the start of each enemy encounter. Weird red stains. Okay, one neighbor is complaining about her missing underwear. Wandering through an empty corridor, you find an old vending machine. You don't recognize the brand of sodas inside, but you could really use a drink. I'm gonna get the cheapest one. You buy a can of off-brand soda and take a sip. It tastes a little odd, but you enjoy the drink anyways. Another neighbor is complaining about weird noises coming from the vents when she's at home. The telephone sounds, and multiple voices are too loud for you to ignore. When you enter the apartment, everything turns silent. You've defeated the gossip junkie. Let's check the building plan to find out if there's a place where all the vents connect. When you stop by home to pick up your lunch, you find a pile of letters in your mailbox. What's that? You've attracted the attention of something truly evil. Every room is connected by vents coming from the unused boiler room. Could it be? You enter the dark boiler room and trip over the pipe. Cursing, you find a light switch and gasp in horror. It's not a pipe at all. It's a long, rubbery arm coiling around the room and ending in a ventilation shaft. Coming closer, you can smell something vile and rotten. You almost fall to the ground when you see the wide-open stare of the dead pervert, his elongated limbs stretching and disappearing into the vent's darkness. Inside his mouth, you find a tiny key. After the police arrive, the whole building gets searched. Following the arms, the detectives find the body of a man stuck in a ventilation shaft. Later, he is identified as the building caretaker. In his closet, police find pieces of underwear and voyeuristic photos of the tenants. You are questioned thoroughly and eventually released as the murder case is being covered up as a case of an unfortunate gas leak. Alright, so that's ending A for alarming account of abnormal arms. The old god stirs. Freaky flood. Did the water level suddenly increase, or is our city slowly sinking? Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? Okay, so... you can't run from something truly evil? You don't see anything weird. Watch TV. A minor earthquake in the seaside region has revealed an entrance to a partially flooded cavern system. Local scientists believe some of the corridors could be man-made. Also, I'm going to try something that I found out. 5, 6, 7, 9. 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, so So let's see. I'm going to take a bath. And let's see. Let's see how I'm doing. Alright, I'm gonna go for a reason boost. No, wait, no, a small XP boost. Alright, and let's see what other mysteries we have to solve. Eerie episode of Evolving Eels. While returning into your home, someone suddenly bumps into you. Did you know? You turn around. It's your friend living in the same apartment complex, Kana. That weird dude is back, you know, the one who studies fish. You shrug, opening the door. Kana follows and immediately enters the kitchen. A while later, she returns with 2 cans of soda. Aren't you curious? What weird fish did he bring this time? She grins. I saw the neighbor carrying some jars inside his apartment. I wonder, what weird fish did he find this time? Will you check it out? He will surely recognize me if I try to do it myself. Please? Okay, I'm gonna go to the seaside to complete the quest. That pair has been following you since morning. You finally managed to lose them, but can't shake the feeling that it will only get worse. The Venetian Society? What is that? The military exercise makes you feel safer, but are guns enough to stop the unspeakable horrors lurking out there? You may be going crazy, but you swear something is watching you from the sea. While examining the ransacked room of your recently deceased friend, you discover a half-finished picture of a face hidden in the shadow. Something truly evil is getting closer. Dude's working at school, right? We could break into his office. What do you mean we shouldn't? It must be empty, because he just came back and his classes begin next week. Oh, I can level up. Okay, so, available perks. Folklore studies, +1 knowledge, knowledge of various rituals and regional myths. Outdoorsman, +1 luck, attuned with the natural rhythm of life. Running shoes, smaller doom penalty from running for combat. I can't run from combat because of the old gods, so I am going to choose folklore studies. And then for my stats, let's see, I'm going to increase my knowledge. And let's see, I think what I will do is I will increase my charisma as well. Okay, I have now leveled up. Okay, so it says open the cabinet. I wonder if I can actually do that. Using a key you find, you open the trophy case and take an odd golden goblet without a plaque. Goblet, important, container, constantly cold to the touch. It looks ancient. What was it doing in school? The neighbor's office at school is empty. You do find a few jars, all filled with weird eel-like fish. Despite your protests, Kana decides to take one jar home. Have you ever seen an eel like this? It's so freaky. Don't you have a feeling it's watching us? How can she sip her soda so calmly, staring at this creepy creature? As you glance around, you notice that more and more people are wearing strange masks, unlike anything you've ever seen before. As you turn to your friends for reassurance, you notice that some also wear these eerie masks. Their voices sound muffled and distorted, and you can't shake off the feeling that they're not quite themselves. The hairs on the back of your head stand on end, and you realize something is terribly wrong. They are preparing for something. This can't be healthy. Are they hiding something? Ooh, let's see. A sense of dread creeps over you as the masked people are swarming through the store, filling their carts with food and survival equipment. You notice the goods' prices have already skyrocketed. You realize that you need to act fast if you want to have any chance of survival. I've seen him burning some notes behind our apartment building. Let's go and check it out. Is this eel even alive? A woman jumps out of her apartment covered in gore. Between sobs, she tries to explain what happened. She was taking a shower when suddenly the shower head started spraying blood. A trail of blood leads into the dark apartment. The woman sniffs and smiles weakly. You feel like you've prevented something awful. Kana was right. Someone tried to burn some papers. They must have been in a hurry because some of the papers look salvageable. You both return to your apartment and try to decipher the notes. Legend from the blank prefecture, eels tell of a small village of robbers who would kill all visitors and dump their corpses into a lake full of eels. Eels of the blank prefecture would lay their eggs inside human what? That's so weird. Your neighbor was really into eels, you see, it seems. You begin to wonder if spying on your neighbor was a good idea to begin with. Loud knocking wakes you up in the middle of the night. "Open up!" shouts the deep voice from behind the door. "I know you're there." Get closer or call the police. Ooh. Before you can answer, the door's letterbox suddenly opens, and an unknown invader tries to look inside. You lurch back in shock. The man sees you and tries to get in, screaming curses the whole time. A neighbor calls the police and the attacker escapes from your apartment building. There must be something more we can learn. I'll try to break into his apartment tomorrow morning. I wonder what he's hiding in there. You shrug non-committally. You just wish you could throw this damned jar in the trash. In the summer of 1971, an entire class trip fell into the sea when a rock they were standing on collapsed. Their bodies were never found. Until now. Thinking about how stupid it is of Kana to try and break into your neighbor's apartment, you go to sleep. You spend an entire day waiting for Kana. Where the hell is she? Impossible angles and seemingly moving lines make your head spin. How is this possible? Kana has been missing since yesterday. You decide to check out the neighbor's apartment yourself. You cautiously enter your neighbor's kitchen. You are shocked to see countless jars filled with eels flailing around restlessly. Where the hell is Kana? The swollen body of your neighbor is rotting away inside putrid, murky water. Both of his eyes are missing, with countless tiny blood trails leading from them in all directions. You finally found Kana. I found the neighbor, but when his eye burst, I slipped on the blood and lost consciousness. I'm afraid there's something in my own eye now, too. We must go to a hospital. We must puncture her eye now. Shocked, you see countless tiny eels crawling out of your friend's eye in all directions. Will Kana even survive the blood loss? You rush to the hospital with Kana, getting a lot of attention from horrified people. Your friend is taken immediately to the operating theater, and you collapse on a chair in the waiting area. Wake up, dude. You've been sleeping for over 3 hours. You groggily open your eyes to see your friend. Kana is wearing an eye patch. Not so pretty anymore, hey? I couldn't exactly tell the doctors the truth about what happened, and I'm pretty sure I won't be winking with my left eye anytime soon, but thank you for saving my life. You're still processing the night events of the previous night. Corpse-eating eels that lay their eggs and eyes. Sitting with your friend Kana before your apartment building, you watch the police officers emptying out your neighbor's place. The old god stirs. A weird epidemic keeps staff at the hospital busy. Skipping the line will cost you more. Okay, got another key. Let's take a good bath. Local dentist has been found guilty of implanting dog teeth on her human patients. Motive is currently unknown. Okay, the next one we're going to do is Far Out Fable of a Fear Festival. Your aunt has sent you a letter inviting you for a curious-sounding festival. It's held every 27 years in a small village. You don't like the sound of it, but your parents both agree. You need a break from all the stress. Inside the letter, there's a bus ticket. What's the worst thing that could happen? You ask yourself as you board the bus. Today's goal: explore the weird village. Just when you thought your stomach couldn't handle it anymore, the janky old bus stops at its destination. You get up and take a deep breath before looking around. It's a small village, and the nearby fields are surrounded by a thick forest. Just a fat man wearing dusty overalls approaches you. It's the inn owner who promised to pick you up. Following close behind him, your eyes are drawn to his hands, which are so deformed they resemble claws more than hands. Your group has arrived in the village and are currently unpacking at the inn, giving you some time to explore. The festival begins in the evening. To progress this mystery, choose actions that will advance the clock. As you learn about the terrible secret of the village, more actions will unlock. The inn's room is dusty, like it hasn't seen any visitors in years. You wonder if anyone cleaned it since the last festival 27 years ago. There's a folder of available activities lying on the table. What's this here? Check out the painting. You freeze in terror as something in the painting moves. There's a hole in it. Are you being spied from the nearby room? Check out the inn staff room area. Ooh. Worried and furious about the hole in the wall, you enter the inn from the back, trying to find the room that connects with yours. Thinking you finally found it, you enter and scream! Oh. Wait, what's that? Karukosa mask. Weird design with many springs. A weird sound wakes you up. You step closer to the window and look out. You can't see anything and get ready to go back to bed when suddenly, the moon comes from behind the thick clouds. 3 hooded figures are standing at the forest's edge. One by one, they light their torches and disappear behind the trees. What was that about? They all wore strange masks. Should you follow them into the forest or try to find more information about the festival? Okay, it looks like we have level up time. Okay, so we've got running shoes, fast swimmer, and discipline. Let's see. Faster offensive actions. Yes, I'll do that. And then for my others, let's see. I'm going to do, let's see. I'll add 1 to knowledge. and 1 to strength. Oh, I re-rolled them. Darn. Hot bath, improved resting at home, discipline, art knowledge. You know what? I'll take art knowledge instead. A shape shimmers beneath the surface. With a splashy sound, something emerges from the murky depths. A leech girl. Oh, crap. Something is watching you from behind the trees. Following a trail of rotten fruit, you stumble on a small forest shrine. It's probably dedicated to some local spirit. The small statue looks alien and menacing. Kneeling by the shrine, you discover a small piece of paper tucked behind the statue. Going back to the inn, you overhear 2 masked villagers. They are talking about something awakening at the next dawn. You wonder what's up with that. You decide to block the entrance to your room with a nightstand. The festival is ending tomorrow, and you can't be too careful. Takahashi! You hear a chipper voice shout during a jog around the area. You turn your friend to see another one of your teammates in casual clothes smiling, blissfully unaware of everything going on. What's up, Captain? Come jog with me. Notice anything weird recently? The weird stuff. She shakes her head, throwing up her hands in a shrug. What makes you ask? Something wrong? You tell her not to worry about it too much. You part ways shortly after that. The investigation is starting to take a toll on you. You start to miss the most obvious leads. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Is that blood? Where is everybody? A trail of blood and sickly smelling sludge leads to the outskirts of the village. Somewhere in the dark forest, there's an answer waiting for you. You start to recognize some of the paths and rocks you've seen earlier. Drooping tree branches hang over the path, framing it in a almost macabre way. It's almost inspiring. You quicken your pace and leave the menacing path. An abandoned factory. This must be the place they took everyone. While exploring the factory, you are caught by masked people you've seen from the inn's window. After tying you up, they bring you to the cult leader. We knew you'd come. You hear a raspy voice, your aunt's voice, coming from behind the priest's weird mask. She signals to the door towards the door behind him. Our master is waiting for a final blood sacrifice. With a loud bang, the ancient horror disappears, and the high priest falls to the floor, grabbing their shoulder. The last thing you see before blacking out are the beams of flashlights and the hand of a police officer saving you from falling. Later that day, detectives interrogating you are confused when you tell them about the ritual, blood, and eldritch being. The village is abandoned, with no trace of blood anywhere. You were the only one seeing the ancient horror. Far Out Fable of a Fear Festival, Ending A. While you couldn't catch the leader of the cult to interrogate them, the people are safe. You board the old bus, wondering what would happen if you didn't stop the ritual in time. The old god stirs. The friendly dog disappeared last night. You will have to find a new place to buy equipment. Alright. Some of our readers report a strange tall man dressed in white taking the metro after dark, apparently stalking lone passengers. Please take care and avoid traveling alone. Okay, so we've got one last mystery, and that's the spine-chilling story of school scissors. We've already been through this. Wait, why is it suddenly so dark outside? You stand by the window to take a look. Black smog emerges from the courtyard, coating everything in an oily vapor. You run from the window before anything happens. That pair has been following you since morning. You enter the damp-smelling sportway. You notice a backpack drifting on a swimming board in the middle of the pool. Could it be what you were looking for? You enter the pool and start swimming towards the backpack. Suddenly, the water turns murky, and you realize you're not alone in the pool. A bloated figure emerges from the murky water, blocking your only way out of the pool. Alright. Okay, reason is going up 6 points. And then, let's see, there's outdoorsman, quick thinking, and hot bath. So I'm going to choose quick thinking. Alright, so let's take a look and see what it says in the diary. Okay, so it's like a square with a circle through it, a line through it, and a circle curve. So I think that's it. Yes, that's it. With the trail growing cold, it might be time for a different approach. Could a similar case have occurred in the past? A trip to the library might be a good idea. The mere thought of studying all those old dusty newspapers makes your head hurt. There's no way you're going to waste an entire day in that moldering library. You enter the art workshop. The room is cluttered with half-finished sculptures and bizarre masks hanging on the wall. One sculpture strikes you as eerily realistic. One mask looks similar to the design you once saw in an occult book. You decide to take it with you. Oh, I got another one of those. I'll just trade it in. You found the holy candles in your friend's backpack. You lit them as instructed by the notebook. Everything is ready for the ritual. Wait, what's that? You take a step back as a writhing amorphous mass slowly takes shape. Soon it becomes a tall, woman-like creature with 3 faces, all connected by a wide smile. Now, it is your chance to fight and defeat this horror. It is also your only chance. Twisting and twitching, the demon woman enters the classroom, cackling menacingly. Am I beautiful? The ancient horror lies dead on the classroom floor, slowly dissolving into nothingness. You find your friend gravely wounded but alive. You help him up, and both of you limp away from the school as the police sirens get louder. Spine-chilling story of school scissors ending A. Scissors Woman is gone for good. Or is she? You shudder, knowing the urban legend will inspire another kid in another city to try and summon the eldritch being. The old god stirs. With more and more students going missing, the police have restricted access to the school's building. Alright, so let's do a quick hot bath. Let's see, how many EXP have I got? 72 out of 100. Let's see, I'm going to do a reason bath. And it looks like it's time for us to head to the lighthouse. The ominous lighthouse has been closed down for longer than you can remember. Multiple padlocks prevent you from entering the building. You need 5 keys, and one hasn't already been opened. You finally made it inside the cursed lighthouse. Your gut is telling you 2 things: that whoever or whatever is behind the weird events must be on the highest floor of this place, and that you should run away from this place as far and as fast as you can. You're afraid there won't be a way back once you start climbing these stairs. Let's do it then. Following the winding staircase, you are stopped. Wait a minute! Someone has been taking photos focused on you. The photos include the enemies you fought with. There's something wrong, but you can't precisely say what. So I think it's the gossip junkie. Whoops, your head starts to hurt. Is everything just something you've imagined? The photos suddenly disappear. So does the door, allowing you to continue. Climbing up the winding staircase, you are stopped by a masked man wearing an expensive suit. The rules have changed, kiddo, he says, taking the jacket and mask off. Nothing personal, really. The ultimate opportunist. Following the winding staircase, you are Wait a minute. Someone broke into your apartment, stole all the clues and newspaper clippings, and pinned them here. The more you study them, you discover you can't remember any of them except one. You rip the newspaper clipping of a case you seem to remember. Underneath it is a tiny button. You press it and, with a buzz, the gate opens. You are stopped by a girl wearing a dirty black school uniform. I'm sorry, but I can't let you go any further, she says, reaching for her bag. It's too late anyway. You instinctively take a step back when you notice a knife in her hand. You have to think fast. You try to talk her into allowing you to pass, but suddenly, she raises the knife and slices right across her own throat, nearly decapitating herself. You carefully step over her body. Following the winding staircase, you find a metal gate that blocks your way. A cable that should be powering it is currently disconnected. The power box itself is covered in a weird, moist goo. Just inhaling the fumes make your eyes itch and water, but to power the gate, you'll need to disconnect a faulty plug. You're surprised at how much effort it takes to disconnect the faulty plug. As you force it, the weird goo burns your fingers. Finally, you manage to separate the faulty plug and connect to the proper cable. With a buzz, the gate opens. The dark clouds swirl around the lighthouse. Did you arrive too late? As the unnatural fog slowly lifts, you are relieved and collapse on the floor. The next day, Everything feels like a bad dream. You've managed to stop the ritual awakening the eldritch old god, but what's done is done. It will stir in its slumber again and again until the stars are right once more. Congratulations! You are safe. For now. Alright, so let's do another run. Okay, so we are going to do a quick play. The thing forsaken by God, banished to the other dimension a long time ago, Goizo has found a way to use mirrors to ensnare excuse me, to ensnare and teleport its prey straight through reflective glass. The glimpses behind your reflections are just the beginning of a real nightmare. Okay, so the old god's rule is resting at home raises doom, and your backstory is that you have a medical history. Brittle bones run in your family, and you spent each summer in a cast. You start with extra experience and bandages, but an injury may occur whenever the player takes damage in combat. Is it going to rain? Okay, so what have I got? So I've got a camera and a med kit. Okay, so here are the mysteries this time. Tragic Tale of the Thaumaturgy Teacher, Eerie Episode of Evolving Eels, Vicious Verses of a Violent Vigil, Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors, Chilling Chronicle of a Crimson Cape. So let's do Tragic Tale of the Thaumaturgy Teacher first. 2B used to be one of the most outstanding classes in the school, at least before their teacher's disappearance. Her replacement glides through the school, entrancing all those around her with her soft voice and calming, emotionless eyes. Now, she stands at the front of the class, scribbling occult symbols in chalk and hissing lessons about the old gods. The children no longer play, but sit in their seats until dark, chanting along, learning of their eldritch masters and preparing to serve them. Following a rumor, you visit the house of a schoolgirl who acted really strange in class. The girl's parents sit crying in the living room and fearfully point you upstairs. Okay, Mr. OOO, your neighbor, is a horror manga artist. He's struggling to come up with a satisfying ending for his news story. It was all a dream? You're a genius! He shouts, start grabbing a pencil. Excuse me now, I've got a bestseller to write. You roll your eyes and prepare to leave. She sits in her bedroom in a blood-stained uniform, a dead rat lying in her hands. Asked why she killed it, she just grins. As you prepare a bath, you think about all the possible leads so far. You're very tired, so maybe ice-cold water is a good idea. Okay. Ice-cold water revitalizes you and you're ready for the investigation. And it's just $1. Another lead, the former teacher of the class, may prove more useful. Knocking on their door, however, gets you no answer. Just subtle chittering behind the door. Well, let's go downtown first. And I now have a steak knife that I can use to kill people with. Or evil things. Unseasonable floods have closed many of the roads. You've wasted a lot of time looking for a safe path. A little boy from the school has been attacked by his classmates. Walking through the park, you find a little girl crying alone in the playground. When you ask what's wrong, she says that she can't find her mommy. Luckily, you spot the girl's address on a backpack lying nearby. You offer to take her home. When you get there, the terrified mother slams the door in her face. From behind the door, she starts screaming to get the girl away. The little girl calmly tells you that she can take it from here. Suddenly, an empty bottle smashes on the wall behind you. You cover yourself from the glass fragments and notice a masked assailant holding a baseball bat. Ooh, I found a prescription. Climbing a tree, you get a better view of the class. Weird schematics of some portal drawn on the blackboard could help in the future. It's for an expensive pharmacy drug. Well, let's go to the hospital. I do need to get an injury taken care of. You find yourself in an old, unused part of the hospital. You take a deep breath. The disgusting smell of thawed remains still lingers in the room. It used to be the hospital's mortuary, where doctors determined the causes of death. Something flashes in the corner of a dusty drawer, and you reach for it. It's a sewing kit, which may come in handy later. You find him in the hospital covered in bites. Just what is with this whole summoning that he speaks of between his sobs? When the patient came home one morning covered in scars and babbling about aliens, the police had them committed. They're mumbling something quietly as you pass by. You immediately understand that the only difference between you and the crazy person is that you haven't been caught yet. You convince them to sneak out and join you in your quest. Oh good, I've got myself an ally. A Sato. A witch. Asato looks at you waiting. Asato looks around. Did you hear that? Never mind. You stumble upon the computer room. This is a good opportunity to check the school's database to look for anything that might help your investigation. You find a curious text file containing occult instructions. You delete it, preventing anyone from trying. The faint chanting doesn't stop, and no one enters or leaves the building. The corridor is flooded by a black sludge that's slowly oozing from underneath the door of the chemistry classroom. A damp, moldy stench grows as you get closer. Take a detour or risk going through? Take a detour. Better safe than sorry. You take the stairs up to another floor to avoid the sludge. You hear a scream coming from the school. It's time to enter. You sneak in through a window and skulk across the shadowy corridors. All the classrooms have emptied out. Peering into one, you spot the corpse of a teacher nailed to the chalkboard. Shaking, you approach it. You spot an old bulge protruding from his stomach. It writhes against your fingers as you probe it. Suddenly, the teacher's chest rips apart, showering the classroom with gore. From within, a child coated in meat and intestines leaps out, screeching with joy. As you near the gym hall, the chanting and rhythmic drums grow louder, threatening to intoxicate you. You creak the door open and stifle a scream. The entire school is gathered around a huge portal surrounded by black candles. From within, the bellowing of the beasts being summoned echoes. The teacher stands at the front, covered in a purple robe, her true form revealed. Knowledge is power. This enemy is so massive, this attack will cause any damage. Attack the teacher. Maybe if you defeat them, the horror will end. With her dying scream, the teacher throws herself into the portal. Her vicious master shows no mercy. You hear it devour her before the connection shuts. The confused children lie on the ground crying. Thanks to you, however, they're safe. Tragic tale of the thaumaturgy teacher, ending A. Roads leading out of town were closed by the police. You'll have to find a new way out. Okay, so... Alright, we can get ourselves a new level. I am going to do a stamina. Let's see. Deduction, bonus experience gain for completing mystery. Leadership +1 charisma. Art, knowledge, perception. I'm gonna do art, knowledge... No, I'm gonna do leadership and stamina. And let's have a good stamina bath. Watch some TV. Demolition of an old inner-city shrine has resulted in an array of unfortunate accidents, and most recently, the death of 6 people suspected of arson. Okay, eerie episode of Evolving Eels. Okay, we've already done this one, so... You learned some useful bits of information about your nemesis. However, if everything the man said was the truth, humanity is doomed. Alright, we're investigating the school again. Suddenly, everything slows to a crawl. A time warper. The neighbor's office at school is empty. You do find a few jars all filled with your blah 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 blah. You pace back and forth beside your desk, piled high with photographs, notes, and documents relevant to your investigation. You're so close to cracking this wide open, you can taste it, but the pieces don't quite fit together. You must be still missing something, but what could it be? You pointed to a man who might have answers. You call him on false pretenses and agree to meet with him tomorrow night. The next morning, the news reports his death. It must go deeper than you thought. It has to. And now we've got paranoia. Chance of losing region each time you lose stamina. Great. The telephone sounds and multiple voices are too loud for you to ignore. When you enter the apartment, everything turns silent. Alright, we've got ourselves a level up. Let's see, so I'm gonna choose reason and quick thinking. Okay, we got ourselves a new ally. Aw, man. Let me see what I can do. Kratu, Nevada, Nikto. Let's see. Occult Diary. You run like a coward from your neighbor's place. The next morning, police officers are emptying out your neighbor's place. They didn't find Kana. Will you ever hear from your friend again? What? I'd have sworn it was Monday, not Tuesday, right? Okay, let's see. Status. I'm gonna do a stamina bath. Let's see. What have we got for outfits? Porter, Hawaii, Chad, Junior Salaryman. Okay. Looking good. It's a nice movie poster. I wonder if that's supposed to be a riff on Battle Royale. Okay, vicious verses of a violent vigil. You've received an official-looking letter. What does a law firm in Tokyo want from you? We regret to inform you of the passing of our client and your granduncle. His funeral will be preceded by an overnight vigil as per the client's request. There is an address on the list of people expected to arrive. You don't recognize any of the names. Intrigued, you decide to check it out yourself. What's the worst thing that could happen? Following the directions from the letter, you slowly fight your way through the overgrown forest path. The old mansion looks like it was torn down and rebuilt many times, but where is everybody? Corpses are strung up on wire like macabre marionettes with painted smiles and rosy cheeks. It takes you some time, but finally you manage to find someone. Is that another guest? You should ask them what's going on in here. A pair is standing next to a window. The man is muttering something to himself, while his wife is observing you with her unnaturally bulgy eyes. The body is laid in the master bedroom. You should pay him your respects. Dark forces scheme against you. You don't know who you can trust anymore. Pressing a handkerchief to your nose, you enter the dark room. There's no way they allowed your granduncle to just lie here. What was the correct bow and clap order? Maybe other guests will know? As you return to the corridor, you notice another family member has arrived. You notice all the guests are studying small cards. You should ask them about it. A muscular man is eyeing you as you take a step towards him. You can't help but notice a deep scar going across his cheek. You didn't get this with a letter? Here, take mine. Okay. We would like to thank you on behalf of our client for participating in this vigil on such short notice. He was a spiritual person and left instructions we are asking you to follow closely. So, bow, clap, and then clap, 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 clap. So, modest supper, pray over the body, feed the plant in the study with blood, cover the mirror in the storage room, end the vigil. So, bow, clap, clap. Okay. Bow, clap, bow, clap. There's a weird tattoo symbol tattooed on the man's toe. You copy it onto your pamphlet. There's a local legend about a heartbroken seamstress. One stormy night, she broke into a local inn and stitched the unsuspecting guests together. Her final gruesome artwork. But that's just a legend, right? On the sewing machine, you spot a strange engraving. When you get closer to investigate, your mind is flooded with forbidden knowledge. You leave the room quickly. Ooh, I got myself a spell. Thread of Fate. Defeat target human enemy at the cost of 4 reason. I'll just forget it. There we go. Check out the supper. The smell is nauseating, but you put some meat on your plate. Long pig steak. Oh boy. Okay. Pray over the body at 12 a.m. Countless spoons fly out of a cupboard when a ghastly figure materializes in the middle of the room. Rumu Ghost. Spiritual weapons. Let's see. So, 5,000 claps, and I need to know what the order is. So, let's see. Clap, 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 clap. Nothing happens. You think you got 3 ritual moves right. Oh, bow. Clap, clap, clap. Ooh! I have to write this down. Bow, bow, clap, clap, clap. Okay, so got ourselves a new level up. So I'm going to choose Reason, and let's see, Outdoorsman, Fast Hands, Deduction. So I'm going to do, let's see, I think I'm going to do Outdoorsman and a Reason boost. Okay, so now I have to go back and pray over the body again. Clap, 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 clap. The body! It's missing. It seems that someone has already removed all the furniture from this room. The overgrown plant is casting an unsettling shadow. You shudder, instantly recognizing the room from a newspaper photo. 3 years ago, a man hanged himself here. Why is a vigil being held in a place like this? Where is everybody? You reach the spot where you and the interviewee agreed to meet, and sure enough, she's waiting for you there. She looks nervous about more than just being alone with you. You're certain she knows something about what happened in that recent missing persons incident. You act calmly, sweetly, and like you're a little stupid, goading her into letting her guard down. Before long, she believes you're on her side and confides in you about the last time she saw the missing person. You manage to find one of the guests. They're shaken but otherwise safe. You both decide to get the hell out of this place, but the door's gone. Following a suspicious person, you enter a old, run-down mansion room. It stinks like spoiled milk and has only 2 doors, one of which you came through. You can't see the strange man anywhere. There's nothing really important here, but you do think you might be able to use the one item you do find. Not the healthiest thing in the world. Corridors twist and turn, trapping you in this mansion. You think you can hear the other guests somewhere, but should you risk getting lost yourself? Kill them. You cut down the bloodthirsty plant. It was a good decision, right? The whole building begins to shake as you enter the room. Suddenly, a stone pillar bursts through the floor where you stood just seconds ago. Noticing the arcane symbols painted on the stone, you take a step closer. You recognize some of the symbols from a stone tablet you saw at the museum. What's the connection? You stumble upon Sotomura, furiously scratching his scar. With each motion, he gets a little deeper. With each motion, more blood appears. With each motion, he takes a step towards you. As the vigil is nearing its end, the whole mansion shakes more and more until the walls start to... I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, just somebody came in to ask me something. Alright, as the vigil is nearing its end, the whole mansion shakes more and more until the walls start to collapse, revealing the shocking truth about your whereabouts. A voice in your head tells you what to do. Sacrifice the guest. An unseen force leads your hands. You reach for a knife and stab a surprised guest. The price is paid. A voice booms in your head as everything gets dark. When you wake up, you find yourself lying on the wet grass, the old mansion nowhere to be seen. Standing next to you is a naked, bloated old man. You recognize a tattoo on the man's toe. It's your deceased granduncle. With a coarse voice, he explains the ritual. You try to keep up with him, but you're weak and your head spins. The death's toll must remain the same. 2 die and 2 survive. You feel like vomiting as the old man who has cheated death disappears behind trees. Everything gets dark. The man you thought was your uncle has cheated death, making you an accessory to murder. You know the police officers won't believe you when you tell them the truth, and do your best to forget the nightmares you left behind. The whole town stopped receiving any outside signal. It must be the radio mast failure. Okay, let's do a quick bath. We'll do the sorrowful saga of the Moonlight Sailors. It began with one fisherman who dragged something truly awful from the belly of the ocean. A dark, writhing ooze that mesmerized him beyond control. He hid himself away for a week, adoring it, not to be seen until one moonlit night, when a young girl spotted his boat drifting away, a single lantern swinging at the helm, and the captivated fisherman singing eerily to his catch. Now more and more fishermen have begun to find the vile ooze in their nets, and one by one they are disappearing. Soon, the ocean will have taken them all. Ooh. You find a huge pile of nets and hooks prepared for the big hunt. You quickly throw them into the ocean. Maybe that'll stop them from sailing out. So what is this blue gem? Important. It feels cold in your hand. It vibrates slightly in your hand. It's getting dark as you arrive at the cemetery, and shadows move in fantastic and unaccountable ways between the tombstones. Finding the right grave may prove to be a challenge, especially when you feel someone's gaze on your back. A priest from the nearby temple asks you what you were doing. When you can't make up a lie, you are thrown out. Although you brave the stench for hours, you glean nothing besides the fact that the fisherman had a wife. Perhaps you should pay her a visit. Something is wrong. You don't see anyone on the street, and you could have sworn it was crowded just a minute ago. You'd better hurry out of here. When you arrive at the fisherman's house, it stands long vacated. Peering through the dusty window, you recoil in shock. Okay, so I've got extra stamina and the folklore studies. It looks like one of the previous owners of this mansion liked to read. Dusty tomes reach the ceiling. You don't have much time, but maybe you could spare a minute to look through the books. The notes lying on the table look like the ramblings of a madman, but you can see a method to their madness. The fisherman's wife lies in the kitchen, mutilated and covered with black marks. You feel watched. You retreat from the room. Surely someone else must have caught one of these. You lurk around, hoping to spot one of them. Crabs are feasting on a bloated corpse, carried to the beach by waves. Reaching for the body, you're attacked by several crabs that don't want to share their meal. The young man has glassy eyes and mumbles his replies as he caresses his catch. The beating movements of his arms disturb you. The waves lazily wash upon the shore. You take a deep breath. The fresh sea air clears your head. After a slow interrogation, the young man manages to stutter out something about an organized fishing trip. Following a barking sound, you find yourself on a beach, surrounded by rocks. A goblin seal. You slip out at night and race towards the beach, terrified of what comes next. The full moon shines bright in the cloudless night sky. The ink-black ocean waves glimmer eerily. All the residents have drawn their shutters tight and locked their doors. Your footsteps are silent in the sand. The only audible sounds are your ragged breathing and pounding heartbeat. You arrive at the water's edge, breathless. The possessed fisherman's boats fill the horizon with their light. Tiny yellow spots navigating across a dark ocean under a dark sky. You cannot make out the figures on board. It's not the sailors. The black beings must have left their bodies. Shocked, you might watch them sail their way out of the harbor. You are terrified at their power, but relieved that they did not drag their meat puppets with them. The black beings never returned. Yet mothers would not let their children play on the beach. Over time, people forgot the last time they saw a boat out on the waves. Although some claim they see strange beings come into the port at night. Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors, ending A. The old god stirs. Alright, we've got ourselves 4 keys. Let's see. Do ourselves a stamina bath. Ooh, I'm badly bleeding. Okay, we got 1 mystery left. A new game is spreading among your friends. A dare to stay in the unused school restroom after classes. A dare to meet Akamanto. What was originally a harmless fun has turned deadly. The body of a boy was found last week. The school principal has banned the game, but that's only made it more popular. Akamanto must be stopped before another kid is killed. One of your friends says he doesn't believe in curses, and he intends to complete the dangerous dare. Have you heard about this computer program that she hasn't come to school since last week? If 000 didn't make those drawings, then who did? Recently, the tap water in my entire neighborhood started tasting weird, almost like it's been so hard to get any sleep lately. How did you do on your English exam? When Akamanto asks which paper do you want, you must refuse everything. You've heard some versions of the legend. Everyone agrees you can't take anything the man offers you, though. Alright, let's go to the hospital and get some treatment. With the trail going cold, it might be time for a different approach. Let's connect the dots. You find obvious clues related to the cult's activities in every article you read. Their arrogance is going to be their downfall. You tear the incriminating paragraphs from their pages and arrange them in an elaborate sequence. The librarians soon discover your vandalism and throw you out in disgust. You've reported it to your principal, who promises he will take care of it. With your friends safe for now, you should look into the legend. Maybe records in the city's library make mention of Akamanto. It's been almost a year since a childhood friend moved away to another city. He left suddenly without even saying goodbye. In a recent letter, he apologized for the disappearance and asked you to remove the furniture from his flat because he wanted to sell it. In the envelope, you find a key to his apartment. You find another letter hid behind a wardrobe. It explains that the reason your friend left was that the shadow people were stalking him. You shudder when you realize you haven't seen the moving company truck's driver's face. You read a story about a vengeful samurai known for wearing a crimson red cape. It's an interesting find for sure, but you need to find more information. Despite your best efforts, you feel like the neighborhood is starting to change. One of the articles mentions a young doctor who performed life-saving surgery on a victim of a brutal assault. The assault happened in a toilet stall. Maybe he still works at the hospital and can share some information. You meet with your friend who has recently started her nurse practice. You lazily chat on the roof of the hospital watching the sunset. Now would be the perfect opportunity to ask about the recent unearthly events. Nah. Sometimes it's better not to know. You chat until your friend's break is over. You learn that the doctor suddenly left the hospital after the latest murder, taking all of his records with him. Why would he do that? That's not the only bad news. Your friend didn't come to school today, and another body has supposedly been found. Your reflection twists and shimmers when you're not looking at it directly. Goizo is getting closer. The principal has ordered the school to be closed down for the investigation. Alarmed by the sound of glass breaking, you discover the corpse of a policeman lying in a pool of blood. It looks like someone, or something, tore out his throat. 410 billion? They didn't tear out his throat, but instead carved an occult symbol with something sharp. You try to remember the shape and escape before anyone arrives. I'm gonna check on something for a second. I was right. It's a reference. 410 billion. It's a reference to that meme T-shirt. Born to die. World is a fuck. Blah blah blah. I am blah blah blah. Yeah, 410 billion. Da 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 da. You break the window and get into the school unnoticed. The cursed toilet is located on the 3rd floor. Get over there! You enter the art workshop. The room is cluttered with half-finished sculptures and bizarre masks hanging on the wall. One sculpture strikes you as eerily realistic. One mask looks similar to the design you once saw in an occult book. You decide to take it with you. Alright, mask time. And level up time. Okay, so I'm going to add stamina, and I'm going to add deduction. There is no turning back now. You step into the last stall and close the door behind you. You wait in the stall, trying to be as quiet as possible. Suddenly, squish, squeak. You hear the sound of rubber boots as an unknown liquid drips on the tiles. Squish, squeak. You can see the top of his head. He's taller than any man you've ever seen. Squish, squeak. The door slowly opens. A masked man, dressed in a red coat, clearly too tall for the city, emerges from outside. Tell me. His voice sounds like a faulty radio. Would you like red paper or blue paper? I don't want anything from you. It's getting darker. The tall man in the red coat slowly takes their mask off as stall walls wither and rot, and reality starts to crumble. Oh boy. That encounter was the final straw. Your mind is snapped, and you've been locked up in an asylum. It would be comforting to accept that you were insane, that no old god is awakening to devour humanity. But the drugs haven't made these horrors disappear. Alright, well, that is the end of the run. Unfortunately, we did not survive. So, I am going to next be streaming on Saturday night, and we are going to be starting Visual Novel November. And there is a very interesting game that I will be playing for Visual Novel November, and you will all see what it is on Saturday night. So let's take a look and see who is streaming right now. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like Matsu Quinox is showing a movie, Phantom of the Opera. Alright everybody, thank you very much for joining me. Apologies for the brief interruption that I had. Basically somebody came in to ask me something and didn't want to be rude, so I had to turn things off. Alright, so, until Saturday night, this has been Jewelry Jelly with Sakura and George Washing Machine. And until we meet again, may all of your tea times be perfect.